When most people think about drawing, they think about a pencil. But what if I told you that this simple tool has a history going back over 500 years and is made from one of the most fascinating materials on Earth? Today, we're breaking down everything you need to know about graphite, what it is, how it works, and how artists use it. Graphite is actually a form of carbon, the same element found in things like charcoal and even diamonds. But unlike diamonds, graphite is made up of layers of carbon atoms stacked on top of each other, which allows it to slide easily across paper and leave a mark. Graphite was first discovered in England in the early 1500s. At first, people thought it was a type of coal, but they quickly realized it didn't burn. Instead, it turned out to be perfect for marking surfaces, and eventually, for drawing. Early pencils were just chunks of graphite wrapped in string or sheepskin. Modern pencils are made by mixing graphite with clay, then baking that mixture into a solid core and encasing it in wood. Now here's where things get noteworthy. The ratio of graphite to clay determines how hard or soft the pencil is and how light or dark it draws. More clay means a harder pencil resulting in lighter marks. More graphite means a softer pencil and darker marks. Most pencils follow the HB scale, H hard, B black, HB middle ground. So a 4B is softer and darker than a 2B, and a 4H is harder and lighter than a 2H. I compare this system to a number line with my students. The H side flows similarly to negative numbers, while the B side corresponds to positive numbers. That's why artists don't usually use just one pencil, they use a range. Most pencil sets come with several different pencils, but truthfully just having 3 is all you need to get started. I recommend that you use an HB, a 2B or a 4B, and a 6B so that you have a light, medium, and dark pencil. Side note, value is a term artists use to describe how dark or light something is within their artwork. You'll hear me use that term later in this video. But there's more to a graphite drawing than just the pencils. Here's a few key tools that will make a huge difference in your drawing. The first tool I want to highlight are graphite sticks. These are solid, binder-free sticks of compressed graphite for drawing, sketching, and shading. They allow for broad strokes, bold marks, and covering large areas quickly. The second helpful tool is a kneaded eraser. It's stretchy, soft, and moldable, and instead of rubbing graphite away, it lifts it, perfect for highlights and subtle corrections. Vinyl erasers are much firmer and better for completely removing graphite, especially in darker areas. A soft, long-bristled brush is ideal for sweeping away specks of graphite or pieces of eraser that accumulate on your paper. If you use your hand to brush them away, you risk the chance of smudging your drawing. Blending tools or stumps help you smooth out shading and create areas of soft transition between light and dark. If you don't have a blending stump, you could use a Q-tip or a piece of tissue wrapped around your finger. I don't recommend that you use your bare fingertip to smudge because the oils in your skin actually mix with the graphite, making it both harder to erase and creating streaks on your paper. And of course, we need a way to sharpen our pencils, so I recommend keeping a handheld sharpener nearby. These are generally safer to use on fragile graphite than an electric pencil sharpener. Now bear in mind that different points give you different marks, so a sharp pencil is great for fine detail and a dull pencil is better for shading. The surface you draw on matters just as much as the pencil you use. Most pads of paper will have a description of both its surface quality and weight. Things labeled for drawing or Bristol board are a great starting point. Smooth paper gives you clean, precise lines, but can be harder to shade evenly. Textured paper, on the other hand, has tiny peaks and valleys that hold the graphite, making it easier to build rich, even tones. There are 2 common ways to hold a pencil while you're drawing. The first is holding the pencil like you would while you are writing. This is best for precise work and areas where you need control. The second is a looser grip where you hold the pencil further back or even overhanded, which allows you to cover larger areas or create gradual gradients. Erasers are not just for correcting mistakes. They can actually be used to create highlights, textures, or clean up the edges of an object within your drawing. This is called subtractive drawing because you're removing media instead of adding it. Working in layers is essential when utilizing graphite. You shouldn't apply too much pressure too quickly in your drawing, or you'll lose control of your mark making and create a very shiny metallic look. Start with light layers and gradually build up the value. This leads us into the final part of this video, where we're going to cover some of the techniques artists use to make marks or build value as they draw. Whether you're a seasoned artist or just starting out, I believe it's important to warm up prior to starting a drawing. Some artists like to do fast sketches called gesture drawings, while others create something called a value scale. Now I'm going to demonstrate some of the most common drawing techniques artists use. The first, most common technique is traditional blending. This creates a smooth, soft gradient. For this technique, I move the pencil in tiny circles. Remember that it's important to work in layers and gradually build up value to avoid shine. Once I have a decent amount of graphite on the page, I start to incorporate my blending stump and might go back in with the eraser to lighten or clean areas up. Hatching is a technique that creates value with parallel lines. The closer the lines, the darker the value. Most artists don't blend these lines together. Cross-hatching builds on that by layering lines in different directions, creating deeper, richer shadows. And just like with hatching, we don't typically blend. Stippling uses dots instead of lines. More dots equals darker value. This is by far the most tedious of all the techniques, and it can be quite loud when there are 45 students all stippling at once on wooden tables. The last technique I'll demonstrate is called scumbling. Scumbling is a loose, circular scribble that builds tone in a more organic way. It's a great way to unwind after a hard day of stippling. So while graphite might seem simple, it's actually one of the most versatile tools an artist can use. From light sketches to deep, rich shading, everything we covered today is really about learning how to control value and build form. And once you understand that foundation, you can start to apply it to almost any drawing medium. Now here's your challenge. Grab a pencil, try at least 2 of these techniques, and let me know in the comments which one felt the most natural. If you liked this video, please don't forget to like and subscribe. In my next video, we're going to explore charcoal, a medium that pushes contrast, texture, and expression even further than graphite. So if you're ready to get a little messier and a little bolder, I'll see you in the next one.